Selena.
I was in high school when the Avengers came. Kind of strange that it's all over now. No one's coming to save the day.
I think we are. We can be the ones that are coming.
But look what you unleashed. You can't outrun the emptiness.
We can't do this. No one here is a hero.
We all have things that we regret.
But I have so many.
Selena.
When I look at you, I don't see your mistakes. That's why we need each other.
We can't stop him alone. No one can. But we can find a way. Together.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts.
The power of a million exploding suns, light generation, mystic light manipulation, resurrection. This guy's fucking OP.
Resurrection, dude?
Yeah.
What, like he can bring people back from the dead?
Can bring other people back from the dead, yeah.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, this guy's insane.
Anyway, hi guys, welcome back. This is our second part of our spoiler review for Thunderbolts. And spoiler warning ahead, if you're gonna watch the movie, don't watch this. The new Avengers was really fucking good.
Oh, dude, so good.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. But as you were listing off,
Yeah.
the Sentry, who is the new hero that we get introduced to in this movie,
Yep.
is literally the most OP character you could find.
Yeah, but he's not even the most OP.
In Marvel?
No,
Seriously?
Scarlet Witch is more OP. Fucking
You think so?
yeah, because Scarlet Witch can literally like cry and change the universe accidentally.
I guess that's true.
Yeah,
That is true, yeah. She is OP. But I mean, oh my god, I guess...
The Infinity Stones, more OP.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I feel like the Infinity Stones bring someone to his level.
yeah. The thing is, he's also schizophrenic.
Oh yeah, that is a pretty
So-
big nerf.
Yeah, he has all these powers and stuff,
Yeah.
and he wants to be a hero, but he also has to not be the Sentry, because if he's the Sentry, there's a chance the Void comes out.
Yeah.
So he's a good written character.
Oh yeah,
Like-
I love his character just because he's not like a perfect being. you
Yeah.
know? Like you said in the non spoilers version.
Yeah.
He's the Superman in Marvel.
Yeah.
But this Superman has schizophrenia and mental health issues.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's something that a lot of superheroes like that are really overpowered don't get.
Yeah.
Because it's like they have to be perfect or else they literally can risk killing everybody.
Yeah, and if Nathaniel, specifically, our buddy, watches this, because he hates overpowered superheroes.
Oh yeah.
And powers and shit.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, he's going to love this character.
Well, yeah, because he's got a big old nerf.
Yeah, but he's still the most powerful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which I'm going to shit on his parade because of this. It drives me nuts. Anyway, they also mention it in the movie. The line in the movie is, you give the super soldier serum to Steve Rogers, he becomes Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get it to a drug addict fucking loser, what does he become?
He becomes a ticking time bomb. I think is what they called him.
Yeah. But I guess we'll kick this thing off.
Yeah.
I did want to mention, though, the marketing ploy is by far one of the best things I've ever seen.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
never been done before.
Really changing the title of a movie?
During the movie's theatrical run, no, it's
Oh.
never been done.
Really?
Movies have changed afterwards, like Live, Die, Repeat,
What did it get changed to?
Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise, where he keeps
Oh,
dying.
really? It was. I didn't even know that.
In theaters, it was Live, Die, Repeat.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Or
But
like-
through the theatrical release is pretty insane.
Yeah, it's never happened, and
Oh, that's so cool.
it sucks though, because like they could have waited a week.
Right, so that way everyone could kind of understand why they just did that.
Well, everyone
The word of mouth could be like, hey, you should go watch this movie. Something happens really cool at the end. That asterisk is sick.
instead of them being like, oh, here's 1,000 new trailers of the new Avengers and things, and every billboard is changing.
Yeah.
But I think it was really cool. But to jump into the movie,
Speaking of jumping, the first scene is Florence Pugh jumping off a building.
yeah, which is really cool because it's her actually doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Like that? She actually performed that stunt?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
It was a really big deal. So it's the
That's
second tallest building in the world, and she jumped off of it.
Wow, that's actually insane.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Which she had to fight Kevin Feige and the bosses because
Yeah.
she read the script and she was like, "Oh, cool, I'm jumping off a building," and they're like, "No, you're not." She's like, "Yes, I am."
Yeah. Well, that is a big risk to put your main actor in that kind of harm's way because a multitude of things could go wrong. That's why stunt doubles are a thing. Because if a stunt double breaks his ankle, then you're like, damn, get the other one in.
Yeah.
But if the main actor breaks their ankle, and it's like, damn, shooting's gonna have to stop for a week or a month.
halted.
Yeah.
Which
but
they did not have time for.
No.
This movie was very much rushed, but
it didn't feel that way.
it did not.
It really
feel that
didn't
way.
feel that way. It felt like they took their time, which I really liked. But I liked the part where she jumps off because, I mean, you obviously know she's not killing herself, but throughout the whole first sequence, she's talking about, like, I don't have purpose.
Yeah.
I've lost my purpose ever since my sister died.
I wish I remember her exact first words
Yeah.
because it was really intense.
Yeah.
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 Well, she kind of goes on. She's like, I go to home to no one.
Yeah.
And, like, I have nobody.
Yeah, which anytime I've ever heard someone say that on top of a building, they do jump, but they don't have a parachute.
Which is good symbolism. You're right.
Yeah.
Because I think her opening line is like, "There's something wrong with me,"
Yeah.
and she's like, "There's a void inside of me."
Yeah.
And Florence Pugh again, fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
In anything she's in.
That's why that's her name. Florence Few and Far Between, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Sorry.
But yeah, she jumps off the building. That was really cool. She's working for Val, which a lot of these characters are. And U.S. Agent, Taskmaster, the Ghost, and Florence Pugh all get sent to this location because Val, I forget her whole name. I don't even want to pronounce her last name because she might get mad.
Yeah.
Defon or whatever.
Defon, yeah. Yeah, I remember now.
They
Defense.
are trying to impeach her from being the head of the CIA because of her company that is like BlackRock. It has like their medals and everything, and she's like a super billionaire, but she decided to be the head of the CIA because she's fucking evil.
Yeah.
They're looking into her, and she's like, all right, well, I'm just going to kind of destroy all the evidence of all the bad things I'm doing so I can continue to work for the CIA. So her top agents are everybody I just mentioned, and she sends them to this facility. And each one, I thought this was really cool, has a target that they have to kill. So U.S. Agent has to kill Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh, and then Taskmaster has to kill U.S. Agent, and then fucking Ghost has to kill Black Widow, and then so on and so forth. But what do you think of that opening scene where they're inside of the building?
Where they're inside that big old room, they're trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I liked it because it was confusing at first, right? Like,
Yeah.
no one knows really what's going on.
Yeah.
And Florence Pugh, or no, what's her name? Fuck. Yelena.
Yeah.
She goes in the building, and she looks immediately at this document because that was like her first thing. She had to figure out what they were stealing, and then she could kill them. And so she goes in, looks at the document, and it's the document on the Sentry, and she notices what was his name? Fucking Walker.
John Walker.
John Walker. He comes in, and he's got his little Captain America shield and everything. He's still wearing all the Captain America shit.
Yeah.
And they immediately start fighting, and Florence Pugh's like, I'm not after you.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm after you. You're my target. And she's like, what? And then is that when Taskmaster Taskmaster comes in,
The Taskmaster shows up.
and then she starts fighting. She starts fighting
US
John
Agent.
Walker.
Yeah.
Is that his name? U.S. Agent? Like that's his like hero name or whatever?
Yeah. Well, you didn't watch that show, huh?
I did not know.
Well, he was Captain America.
Captain America. Okay.
Yeah. And then he killed someone
Yeah.
on live TV.
They do talk about that in the movie.
Yeah. So then he becomes not Captain America, but his name in the comics is U.S. Agent. But John
okay.
Walker,
John.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Walker. Because then Taskmaster come in. Her target is John Walker.
Yeah.
And Taskmaster comes in, looks at Florence Pugh, and goes, "I'm not here for you," which I thought was like, "Damn, that was fucking rough."
Yeah.
But then Ghost comes in,
Yeah.
and so I don't know. I thought it was really good because it was just like a clusterfuck. Everyone's fighting each other, but like certain people are only fighting someone else because they're getting in the way,
Yeah.
and they're still trying to get to the other person.
Because they're like, I'm not here for you.
Yeah, like stop. And then they, what happens? They get in that big old fight. So the ghost lady kills Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Taskmaster. And
Well, I think that's how she intros. Is it?
yeah, she pretty much pops in and was like,
I was so happy about this.
yeah.
Yeah, because I hate how they did my boy Taskmaster
Yeah.
and gender swapped him for no reason.
Was that something that was established earlier?
Yeah,
Or
it was in Black Widow.
was that in Black Widow? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's like a Red Room assassin or something.
Interesting. Because, yeah, I was really confused because when I saw that, I didn't think it was Taskmaster.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I had forgotten about that. But
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, who the fuck? Who's this? And I thought Taskmaster, but I was like, no, that can't be. But apparently it was.
It was. And I think they did it so they can introduce the real Taskmaster later on.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that they did it was so low key, and it set up stakes for sure in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because she just fucking gets shot out of nowhere in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Yelena's like, hey guys, slow your roll here.
Yeah.
There's a countdown timer over there. I'm pretty sure I knows what happened. And she's like, okay, this is obvious.
Well, then the blast doors come down.
Yeah, but U.S. Agent John Walker is so full of his own shit. He's like, why don't you guys just tie yourselves up and I'll take you in?
Yeah.
I'm obviously the good guy here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm obviously the one who's
Yeah.
here to take care of the delinquents.
Those blast doors, those are to keep you guys in here.
Yeah.
That timer on the door that's like looking like a bomb, that's when they're going to pick me up.
Yeah. I immediately, once he started talking like that, I was like, I love him.
Oh, really?
I love his character.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
He is funny.
Um,
He's insufferable in the show that he was in.
Oh, was he? Yeah.
But it was in such a good way because, like, we'll explain it a little bit further on. But also, Bob walks in before all this is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of pops out. I think Bob's kind of the reason why they take a breath.
Yeah.
And then they're able to like actually communicate like, oh, but you're my target, he's her target, and then I'm, you know.
Yeah, but who the fuck are you?
Yeah, and they're like, who the fuck are you? And he's like, hi, I'm Bob.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like cuts to a subplot of, what's her name, Valerie?
Valerie, yeah.
Valerie, and she's like doing, I think, was that when they did the impeachment trial? Or she's like talking about it? Oh no, she's on the ride.
They're at like a Avengers museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Bucky Barnes tries to like coerce her intern to like come over to his side and give him intel so that way they can impeach her.
Yeah, it was funny though when he was talking to like the senator, and he's like, "Well, I got this like link to this chick. I think she's got a flip side, so like we can do this." And he's like, "Well, there's no need to do all this incognito stuff."
Yeah, he's like, "I don't understand why the fuck we're doing this."
Yeah, he's like, "I know you guys like to do all this like crazy stuff."
Yeah,
but he's like, "Just wait a year. We have so much dirt on her that she will get impeached."
Yeah, he's like, bro, send me an email. I don't.
Yeah,
this could have been an email.
He's like, read the folders, man. Read the documents.
Yeah.
And he's like, read the documents, and then he ends up going home and he puts his arm in the dishwasher.
That shit was funny, yeah. And he's like reading, and he was like sitting there eating something, and it fucking got all over his suit.
Yeah.
And then he like throws it in the washer, and then he throws his arm in the dishwasher.
Yeah. But as Valerie's at the party, her intern walks up to her and is like, our guests have showed up, and you want to activate the housewarming gift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I believe is an Iron Man Easter egg.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because his housewarming party is when all of his suits come out in the third one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, Bob is immediately the most lovable character immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's just like, you can tell he's just kind of like the little dumb guy.
Yeah.
But he just is so innocent.
Yeah, and the actor, he did a great job.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when he like goes like super dark all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, damn. But anyway, our characters are stuck in this room and they need to get out because they're going to get incinerated. So they all quickly work together and they bust out of there. Mm-hmm. And then this is kind of where we start getting into the mental health stuff.
Yeah.
And do you remember exactly what happened?
So they bust out of there. The ghost gets out, opens the door because the elevator was cut off. The power was cut off.
Yeah, yeah.
And so she opens the door for everyone else. They run out. Explosion happens. And Bob and Yelena touch hands.
No. Before this.
Oh.
Before this. This is what I wanted to mention. Is that because they do end up touching hands. And you're right. Sorry. Continue. The next part is the next part.
Yeah, so they touch hands, and then Yelena gets thrown into her like most shameful memory.
Yeah, I think it was like her first blood or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, and because she's a child, and she basically lures one of her kid friends out. I don't remember what the whole like relationship.
I think it was like her
between them.
teacher.
No, it was another kid.
She's much older than her.
It was another kid, wasn't it?
No, she's older. It was just she was Asian.
Oh. Okay. But she lures her out.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "I'm sorry," and then some dude comes out, shoots her.
Yeah.
And while Yelena's watching this from like a third person point of view, she turns and sees Bob just standing there, and he's like kind of looking at her, all funky.
Which that would be terrifying.
Yeah,
I'd
I'd be
like reliving your worst memory, and you look over, and there's just
and then Bob.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then she wakes up and sees him. And
Yeah.
then I think that's where she gets an immediate connection with him.
Yeah, and you can tell she's already fallen for him.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, are you all right? But as they're getting up, John Walker kind of bosses him around a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is like probably one of my favorite lines in the movie because Bob asks him, he's like, "Aren't you supposed to be Captain America?"
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, "Well, yeah." And he's like, "Well, you're not really like Captain America because you're kind of a fucking asshole."
Yeah.
And immediately he's like all fucking grunting and getting all mad.
Yeah.
And then he goes and pushes Bob and threatens him.
Yeah.
And Yelena saves him and they have their talk.
Yeah, you can see Bob's eyes start glowing in that fight, in that little argument.
Yeah.
And I thought some shit was about to go down. I don't know this character, so I thought he was just going to show him a vision or something, because that's all I thought he could do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought that was it, because I had no clue what his powers were. I didn't know who he was.
What a crazy twist.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm so genuinely lost. But, John Walker and whatever it is, they get done fighting, and Yelena says, "Oh, I'm glad you guys are done with your little dick fight," or something like that. And
that is exactly what she says.
yeah. And so they end up. What's the next one? They end up going into this like vent area to get up because the elevator's power is down.
But right before this, Bob was like, "I always mess everything up." Blah, 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 blah. And then Yelena and them have a heart-to-heart, which was like the first one where you're like, damn, like this movie's deep.
Yeah.
Because they're talking, and he's like, well, how do you like deal with these feelings and stuff? And she's like, well, you take them, and then you push them really far deep down inside.
Yep.
And even Bob, the guy who's like so fucked up.
Yeah.
He's like, that's good advice.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But you can kind of tell, he's like looking at her, he's like, yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah, it's really good.
But, obviously he's going to end up taking that advice.
Yeah.
But
then they start going up the elevator, and this is because I knew of the character, and they're all sitting there, and Yelena's like, well, none of us can fly. Why do we all just punch and shoot?
Yeah, right? Yeah, that shit that made me laugh because since I didn't know who he was, I was like, I don't know, can he fly? I was like, are we gonna find out that he can fly here? No, we did not find that out.
Oh, I thought he was going to, but this is where like peak Marvel humor is coming back, and it's funny because John Walker's like, I got this, and he jumps.
Which that genuinely surprised me that he could jump that high.
Oh yeah,
Because I was like, I don't think I've ever seen Captain America really jump like that.
yeah. I mean, you've definitely seen him jump off of buildings.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Yeah.
like you never really get that sense of how strong he is of jumping.
Yeah.
And so it's like seeing him jump just straight up. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
how strong is this guy?
Yeah.
But then this is I think what you're talking about when he jumps up and then he
Yeah.
waits a minute and then he goes and then just right back down, right on his back.
Which was so funny. And
That was hilarious.
The humor is working. That's where it was like, this movie's good.
Yeah.
But then Bob's like, I have an idea.
Oh gosh.
And they all go back to back and they start moving up. And that shit, even their little banter as they're going,
Yeah.
it's just so funny.
I thought it was funny, but like I'm also like I'm scared of heights.
Yeah.
I'm right there with Bob. I'm scared of heights, and so as they started going up, I was like holding on to my chair. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, they're getting way too high.
Yeah.
And then I saw them start getting fatigued, and I was like, oh man, I would
Yeah.
be. If I were in this situation, I would have given up. I would have let someone kill me.
Yeah.
I
You
couldn't do it.
three go up, I'll stay down here.
Yeah, I'll stay here. Don't worry about it.
But
Oof.
they finally get up there, and then they I forget how they know this, but like the people they're gonna have a kill squad coming.
So because they get up to the top and they have like this whole banter about how to get out because they're all locked, and
Yeah.
if any of them moves, the other one's gonna die or like fall.
Yeah.
And so, what's his name? John Walker grabs Black Widow's like staff or whatever it is, sticks it in the wall, gets up there, and then everyone basically saves themselves, and he saves some of them.
Yeah.
And then gets them all back up, and they look out the door, and that's how they see the kill squad. They're
There-
like surrounding the building.
There is a line though that was funny right before this,
Oh yeah.
because John Walker goes, because they're all like, "You're a fucking asshole! Like, you just saved yourself," and he's like, "No, I saved myself strategically. So
Yeah.
after I was safe, I could help you guys."
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's like, okay.
All right, buddy. Yeah.
But there's also another thing because he pulls Bob up,
Mhm.
and when he does, he gets put into a memory.
Yeah.
And this part was fucked
Yeah.
because you kind of get to see who he is as a person. And
Yeah.
he's like watching his kid, not really.
Yeah.
And then he gets into a fight with his wife because he's a bad dad.
Yeah.
But then you see the kill squad, and this part was fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I'd like to mention, the fact that his most shameful memory is him being a bad dad,
yeah.
and Yelena's most shameful memory is her killing someone or getting someone killed.
Yeah.
It's very much like, man, I still don't like him more. But like, God, man.
They're all pretty bad.
Yeah, they all suck.
That's Florence Pugh. I can't be mad at her.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and she's trying to be better. He's still a dick.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the kill squad, they have a whole argument on like how they're gonna get out,
Yeah.
and basically John Walker's like, I'm taking the lead.
Yeah.
And Florence Pugh's like, no. And so they argue for that a little bit, and they're like, well, we don't trust you. You might just leave us. And so Florence Pugh goes through her whole thing and tells the ghost lady, go find a vehicle, and the ghost lady's already gone.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, fuck, I hope that she's gonna do that.
Yeah.
And they have to turn the lights off, will cause an explosion,
Turn the lights off. Yeah.
and then that shuts the lights off, so then everyone's supposed to come in with like night vision goggles on,
Yeah.
and then they turn the lights on and blind them. Excuse me, which I think is a good idea. That's
Yeah.
smart. But John Walker says like an actual valid point. He's like, no, there are too many variables with an explosion. Which, yeah there are.
Yeah.
And that ends up coming into play because the explosion fried some of the wiring. They couldn't turn the lights back on.
Yeah. Which I also thought Bob here was the best part.
Yeah.
He's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And then he ends up just fucking killing a bunch of people.
Yeah. Well, and that was also another thing of like, that was, Bob throughout the whole time was of this like first section was just making me sad.
Really?
Because he was like, I think I should stay behind.
Yeah.
And like, he's constantly talking about, he's like, I don't think I'm going to be helpful to you guys.
I'm useless here.
And like, I'm like, damn, Bob, stop talking about yourself like that. But then, what was it? Florence Pugh goes in there with Bob, and he's like, so what's the plan? All this and that. And then she's like, oh, I'm going to do this. And he's like, well, what am I going to do? And she's like, you're going to stay behind me and not do anything.
Yeah.
And then the powers doesn't come back on. And he's like, what? You were supposed to turn the power on. And she's like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, Bob.
Yeah.
But then John Walker, he's like waiting for them to do all their stuff.
Well, because he's like behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he ends up like not. He's like, oh, you guys are taking too long, so he just doesn't kill them all, or not. I don't know if he kills them.
Well, he starts coming back.
Yeah.
Fighting.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But like Bob has the gun. Elena is fighting everybody. Mm-hmm. He's actually doing a good job.
Yeah.
And then eventually, Elena grabs the gun because Walker's walking this way, and this made me fucking cackle so hard.
Well, it was because he pointed the gun at her because he doesn't know how it works, and she's like, "Not at me!" And then she turns it, and then starts shooting.
Yeah, that was good. And then as Walker's walking back, they don't know it's him, and they start shooting the shield.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Fucking stop!
Yeah,
stop! It's me! Stop!
Stop shooting!"
Yeah, which I thought was really funny. But then you kind of get to see Bob because Ghost ends up getting the vehicle and they're making their way out and they get stopped at a little stop, which again, Walker is actually really good.
Yeah.
Because when he's like, they get stopped at the checkpoint, he's like, I'll handle this. Yeah. And they're like, all right, okay. And he's how's it going? Where are you guys headed? And he's like, oh, we need medical. Yeah. And he's like, well, medical's like on the other side of the base.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, we're going to medical outside of the base.
Yeah, we gotta take him to the hospital.
Yeah, we gotta take him to the hospital. And then he's like, I need to see some like identification. Yeah. And he's like, no.
That was my favorite part because he goes, no, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I don't want to give you my ID. And then was it Ghost or I think it was Elena, and she's like, great fucking job.
Just the way he says it, he's like, no. And it's like, all right. And then you start hearing shots going off, and the guy runs off, and they drive, and you gotta get this sad moment because Bob's surrounded by all these people, and he just starts shooting a gun to distract everybody, and you're like, damn, like Bob wanted to help his new friends. Yeah, this guy is a G. He felt useless the whole time.
Yeah, I think he was really just looking for an excuse to kill himself.
Yeah,
suicide by cop.
Yeah, he was like, ooh, I get to help my friends and kill myself.
Yeah, double whammy.
Yeah, I don't want to give a Florence Pugh. I'm good.
Yeah, right.
And they end up shooting the shit out of him, and they think he's dead for a second. But
so this for me, because I didn't know him, was insane. Because he just gets back up, and that shit, I was just like dumbfounded.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, what the fuck? I thought all he could do was show people their shameful memories. I thought he was lame.
Yeah.
Nope. He was badass. And so I was like, what the fuck? What is this guy?
Especially because he starts flying.
Yeah.
And levitating slowly.
Dude, okay. And that was very Chronicle.
Yeah.
Just that whole scene, because he starts flying, but not like a superhero. He starts flying like he's just getting thrown in the air.
Yeah.
And so it felt like the movie Chronicle, where they're testing out their superpowers and they don't know how to fly, so they're just kind of like flinging themselves through the air.
Yeah.
And so I immediately got like a nostalgia moment when I saw that, and I was like,
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Even they were like, they saw him fly up, and they were like, he's just a fucking human torpedo.
Yeah.
What'd they do to him?
Seriously, yeah. And then he fucking stops flying once he hits like the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And starts falling back down, and he hits the ground with such force that the shockwave threw the car that everyone was in like off the cliff.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, bro. That's insane.
That was insane.
Because a normal human hitting the ground like that from that high isn't going to cause that. They're just going to splat. They're going to pop like a balloon.
They start learning that he's like super OP because they start seeing the paper, the file or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, still like the thing we were doing earlier, reading off all the abilities. Like,
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then they kind of get this point where they're like, we got to get out of here, go to the airfield, and all go our separate ways. Everyone to fuck themselves. And then Bob is getting taken back to New York to go to the Avengers Tower, or what was the Avengers Tower. And then we kind of get a cool little scene with Bucky. Because
Well, before that.
Valerie... Yeah, what?
Oh, well, actually, no. I'll let you say that because maybe you're talking about something else.
Well, I was going to say Valerie's assistant calls Bucky and she's like, hey, Val's going off the handles. She's got this really overpowered dude.
Who's schizophrenic.
Who's schizophrenic and not Captain America.
Yeah.
And she's going to fuck some shit up.
Yep. And so that kind of does set Bucky off, and like he has to go do his thing.
Yeah.
But before that, the group is the group is walking through the desert because they lost their ride.
Yeah.
And then they see a limo driving in the distance, and it's
oh my god.
And it's Alexei. Yeah. He comes up and he's like, don't go in the building. It's a trap.
He's like, Elena, it's a trap.
And then immediately, like once Alexei does that, I'm like, all right, he's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, the best part was Elena. They were just walking, and then they see the limo, and when she recognizes it's the limo, she's like, get down.
Yeah.
Everybody get down. Like,
and she goes, she's just like an embarrassed daughter. And she's like, don't look at them.
Alexei is a standout in this movie.
Oh yeah. God, he's so good. But then Alexei picks them all up, and this is where Alexei says that line from the trailer where he's like, I sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah.
And then John Walker's like, well, I'd rather not die, so can someone else drive?
Yeah.
And then immediately after that, like, they get fucking the
50 cal shooting through.
Yeah, what are they called? Like, is there a specific name for Valerie's group? Or is it just the CIA?
OXC Corp.
Yeah, so them. They end up following them.
Yeah.
And so you see like 3 vehicles with like those fucking machine guns on top. And so they start getting shot at, and so John Walker just puts his shield up.
Well, before that, Alexei's like, don't worry, limousine bulletproof.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No, bulletproof. Limousine is bulletproof.
Yeah.
And then this fucking, what was it? What was the thing that it says on the car? Because I remember it was something funny. Like it was exactly something Alexei would have. And it's like, need the ride? Got you. It was something silly like that.
No, it's like the Red Guardian, right? Because it's his service.
Yeah. Hold on. Something weird happened with the.
Bum bum bum. Hello?
It stopped at 21 minutes. I don't know why I did that.
Okay, I mean, we'll just keep going then.
Yeah, I don't know how much just got cut then. Let me just take a look at this. It does not tell me. Alright, cool. Well, sorry if you guys just got a little bit of a cut. I mean, it's probably just going to be bad quality. We'll just use the camera quality. Because that picked everything up, so.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll clap. Sync it up and
I
down.
don't think that really helps.
Alright, cool. Alright, so sorry.
Alright. Okay. Moving on. They pull up, the soldiers pull up, and then Winter Soldier's there, and everyone's kind of like, fuck yeah, Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Alexei's most excited.
Yeah, well, I also thought it was funny because there's this part where Yelena sticks her head out the window and everyone's like, whoa, don't do that. And she like shoots, they're like, what are you going to do with a fucking pistol? And she shoots and it blows up.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then that's when you find out it was the Winter Soldier.
Behind them.
Yeah.
That was great. And then Alexei's all excited because that's like his idol.
Yeah.
He's the Winter Soldier.
Which that's funny. Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. And as, you know, he's kind of doing his Winter Soldier thing, fucking everybody up, and he kills everyone on the things. And then he stops, and you're like, oh yeah, everyone's good, like we're gonna pull over, we're all good. And nope, he shoots one of his explosive devices at the limo, blows it up, and captures everybody.
Yeah, and I don't know, there's a detail where it's like everyone's tied up, but the ones with the super soldier serum have rebar bent around them.
Yeah. And Ghost has the Shatari handcuffs from earlier in the museum.
Yeah.
Which was really neat. But I thought it was funny because they're trying to explain to him like Bob and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, Bob has these crazy powers.
Yeah.
Bob is this, Bob is that.
Yeah, and Bucky's like, who the fuck is Bob?
Who's Bob? Yeah.
He's like, okay, you guys are done making shit up. Like, I'm tired of hearing this.
Yeah. And then they're talking to him like, hey, like we need to go stop Valerie.
Mm-hmm.
And this and that. And he's just like, really? I get what you guys are doing here.
Yeah.
You guys would want to be this band of misfits and all this stuff, and like you guys are just too far gone.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are trying to go out to be heroes now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's just not gonna happen. You guys need help.
Yeah. Well, and like, cause he wanted to use them as evidence against Valerie.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is what I'm doing. I'm stopping Valerie by doing this.
Yeah.
And then that's when he gets a call.
Yeah.
From Valerie's assistant.
Yep. This is where it happens.
And she's like, she's gone off the hinges. She's got this super powerful guy
named Bob.
And Bucky immediately looks over at him. He's like, Bob, you say? And everyone's like, Bob.
Yeah. Yeah. Wish that was good.
That was funny. That's funny as hell. Because then immediately he's like, well, goddamn it. Like, guess we have to do this.
Yeah.
And this is something we got to do now. And so he basically unties everyone and gets everyone all banded up to go.
Yeah.
And then Alexi's super happy. He's like, let's go Thunderbolts.
Yeah. The Thunderbolts.
Which,
the West Chesapeake Thunderbolts.
Yeah, which we didn't go over why they call themselves Thunderbolts.
Because it was Yelena's soccer team.
Yelena's soccer team where one of the girls pooped themselves.
Yep. Yep. But then, yeah, they start moving to New York. I don't think there's much that happens between there.
Not really. They pretty much just get there. They're like,
Yeah.
time skip, and then they're there.
Well, this part was funny because they smashed through Avengers Tower.
Yeah, well, because Alexi's like, oh, you got the plan?
Yeah.
And Winter Soldier's like, yeah, I got a plan.
Yeah.
Boom! This crashes through.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is where, like, I genuinely was confused, and I was like, is this rated R for a second?
Yeah.
Because Bucky hits one of the guys with his shield, and when he hits the wall, he fucking crumbles.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It was graphic.
I also, a little bit of a plot hole.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they're coming out and they're kicking ass and shit,
Yeah.
Yelena is shooting people in the face.
Is she really?
On the ground, yeah.
Oh my gosh. What the fuck? I don't remember that.
Yeah, so they're all fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
And she literally, for no reason, she'll fight, like kill or hurt somebody, and then she'll just pop, 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 and
Damn.
she shoots 3 of them.
I guess that's that Black Widow coming out right there.
Yeah, and this part, another part in the movie that just made me laugh,
Mhm.
because they get done, and you're like, they're gonna fight their way up this tower. It's gonna be fucking sick.
Yeah.
And then fucking Valerie calls over the intercom. She's like, seriously, guys? I was waiting for you to come. Just come up.
Yeah, and she's like, I just put in that drywall.
Yeah. But people are dead.
Yeah.
People just died.
Like, they just killed people. Like,
Yeah.
in broad daylight.
Yeah, he's also a congressman.
Yeah.
He's a senator.
Yeah, that was my thing. I was really starting to question that. I was like, what does Bucky think he's gonna get out of this, right? Like, he's gonna take her down, but then he's done.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
in a political career, you don't get to do that kind of shit. Like, so, like, the only reason it worked out for Bucky is because of the way it ended. But if it didn't end that way,
It would have been bad.
it would have been bad for him as well.
Yeah. But they go up the elevator, and then they have the whole Avengers scene,
Yeah.
like a mimic of when Loki and Tony Stark are talking.
Yeah.
It's the same bar and everything.
Even Valerie's like, you know how many battles have been fought in this very room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where she starts attacking everyone,
Yeah.
which I respected the energy of this, because she basically is like, John Walker, you're second-rate Captain America,
Yeah.
thrift store Captain America.
Yeah. Great value.
Yeah, and then they're going off, and she fucking destroys Yelena,
Mm-hmm.
and then she doesn't even know who Alexi is, so she's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like,
And he's like, I'm the Red Soldier or whatever.
the Red Guardian.
Red Guardian.
And they all just get shit on, and then she explains her master plan because she pulls Bob down.
Yeah.
Now Bob is in the Golden Century suit, which looked pretty good.
I liked it. I think he looked
Yeah.
badass.
I like how they called out his hair being dyed, which was also really cool.
Yeah.
And then Bob's like, oh, they don't like it.
Yeah, he's like, which one? It was Yelena. She's like, did you dye your hair? And he's like, yeah, it wasn't my idea though. It was hers. But you can tell he's sitting up straight.
Oh yeah,
he's got that confidence in him now.
Well, yeah, because you also learned that he started to use his abilities with Valerie earlier. That really doesn't matter.
Yeah, which, I'd like to point out that like these are new abilities to him, right? And he just started using them. Yeah. So in the time frame that it took them to drive from wherever they were in the middle of a desert to New York, he seems to have a handle on them pretty well.
I think they drove pretty far.
Yeah. So it was a while, but like that's still like. I mean, I guess with that kind of power, it doesn't really matter how good you are.
Well, you also have, fucking superhuman cognitive abilities. Yeah. So
that is
you learn faster. You also have a godlike physique already. So it's like, you're good.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
But so then they all are like, Yelena tries to like talk him down. Yeah. And he's like, I don't think you really do know who I am. And all that stuff, and she calls back to the scene in the power room, and she's like, "No, remember you can trust me. Like, tell me about that." Yeah. And he's like, no."
Yeah. No, I think I'm gonna take you guys in.
Yeah. And so he proceeds to do that because I think does he make the first move or does someone else do that?
Someone else does because they're talking and they can't talk him down.
Yeah.
And this is where the Red Guardian is like, all right.
Yeah.
And he starts screaming. He does, Westchester beat Thunderbolts. Yeah. And he like starts chasing him and shit. And he immediately gets his ass beat. Mm-hmm. He gets slammed back into the wall. And this fight was really cool.
Yes.
This fight was really, really cool.
That was really cool.
Because he just kind of destroys them with ease.
Oh yeah.
And
seeing him like teleport and super speed around was so cool. Because it would be like someone would swing at him and he'd just like, and like right behind him. Yeah. He'd like Naruto teleport or whatever it is.
He's not really being fatal.
No.
But there was one where I felt really bad because he fucking Red Guardian comes up and he like punches him out the window.
Oh yeah, that was so fucked up.
He like punches him out the window and then uses his telekinesis to bring him back in just to like punch him again to the ground.
Yeah, I was like, that's mean.
That was fucked. And then like Bucky starts getting mad because everyone's on the ground. Mm-hmm. And Bucky kind of does this thing where he's like, all right, well, you're strong, but I'm going to kill you. Yeah. And Bucky starts going ham and punching him. And he's just taking it. He's just taking it, doesn't care. And he grabs his arm and kind of starts melting it. Yeah. And bending it and stuff. Yeah. And then he takes it off of him, and then he hits him with his own fucking arm.
That was fucked up.
Yeah.
He played dirty.
He did. He did.
Then he like kicks him over to the side and then throws the arm back at him.
Which, to be fair, if I just watched the Winter Soldier get smacked with his own arm like that, I would do what they did. And then start moving towards the elevator to get the fuck out of it.
I think that is probably one of the most realistic reactions for like characters in like superhero movie. Yeah. Because like most of the time you see like people absolutely getting obliterated by one thing, and everyone just keeps going in. Like no one stops going in. Yeah. And then except for this one. And so.
Yeah. And then Sentry kind of turns evil a little bit here. Yeah. He starts talking about how like no one should be able to tell him what to do because he's stronger than the Avengers.
Right.
And the Avengers at least have one god. Yeah. I am a god, so why would I listen to you? Yeah. And then he kind of starts acting all weird, and then she kills him.
She hits the kill switch.
She hits the kill switch. And then his eyes go blood red. Yeah. Which I thought was cool.
That was cool. Yeah. That was really cool, because it's like, it was like he blew his brain up inside. Yeah. Or something.
And then we get down to the ground floor, they're outside, and Yelena has her monumental crash out.
Oh, dude. Crash out of the century right
Yeah. She starts talking shit about everyone, and she like goes into Ghost about how she's like not even a person, and she like doesn't matter, and she's not even a good person at that.
She's like, you're not a good guy. You're not even a good person.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she like attacks her dad for never being there.
Yeah.
And then John Walker's like, well, is it my turn now? Like, geez, lay off of him.
Yeah. And then she's like, no, you already know you're an asshole and a shit father, or something like that.
The exact words is like, you already know that you're a shitty or a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's like, and your family knows that too, or something like that.
That's what it was.
And then John Walker goes, ouch. Like,
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, everyone kind of looks damn.
Yeah.
But she runs off and cries, and then they have a father-daughter moment.
Which that was beautiful. I love this moment because Alexei sits there and he reminds her basically of the soccer team, the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
And he's like, you were the goalie. Do you remember why you wanted to be the goalie?
Yeah, and she's like, because I didn't want to run as much.
Yeah. Alexei goes, yeah, probably too.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, it's because you wanted to be the one that everyone could rely on.
Yeah.
Which that shit hit hard. You
Yeah.
know? You're like, damn, that makes sense, you know?
It did.
And she ended up going down the path that she went down. So I can see how she's having such conflicting feelings as of right now.
Which would have sucked because Natasha already went through some Red Room training at this point when they were a family, but she hadn't. And so she was kind of in this fake family as a ploy to steal a certain serum from Hydra. And for like 5 years or whatever, that was her dad, that was her sister, her mom. So just to get that all ripped away from you to go and be a super assassin, it would suck.
Oh yeah.
But this is where things kind of get fucked, and you kind of see a figure in the sky, and everyone's freaking out. And I don't know what to call it. What's a sky machine thing?
Oh, Sky Crane?
Yeah, Sky Crane falls, and shit starts getting fucked.
Oh yeah.
I forget the exact order of events, but kind of everyone gets their hero moment, and John Walker has to like hold up this thing that falls, which was intense. That actually happens in the end, I think.
Yeah, that's like the last, kind of close to the last sequence of events. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all kind of defending people and
from rubble that's coming down.
Remember all the moments. The John Walker one that was a standout because you can hear his knees go.
Oh,
and I was like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, and then everyone goes in and saves him as well.
Yeah.
They work together.
And then they see like one thing of debris that's falling down on a little girl.
Yeah.
And Red Guardian goes, and you said it made you laugh.
It made me laugh so hard.
It did not make me laugh. 'Cause he goes in, he saves her, breaks the shit on top of him. You're like, wow, that looked like it should kill you.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you okay, little girl? Are you okay? And then, boom!
Yeah, she fucking just
she does some shit.
Oh my god, that shit made me laugh because I think his exact words were, "You're all safe now. Nothing's gonna happen to." And then she goes, "Poof!" and he turns into a shadow, and everyone's like,
yeah, his face is what turns. He's like, huh?
He's like, huh?
Yeah.
Imagine saving a little girl and then watching her just get fucking destroyed.
I would be terrified.
I would be traumatized.
That's why I said out loud, really loud. I said, what the fuck? Because I was like, no way. They went to this place with this girl.
Yeah.
And I thought she was dead.
Yeah, at that point, because you don't know what his powers do.
Yeah, so you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're like,
yeah. And everyone starts getting turned into shadows and stuff, and then...
Oh, man. I want to point out, though, so, like, before that, Sentry's up in the air, right? And then they send the guards to go shoot at him.
Yeah.
And hearing him talk, his void voice...
Oh, yeah.
So good.
It was good.
It was menacing as fuck.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you don't know. Like, he sounded kind of like Ultron.
Yeah.
And so that was intense.
Same thing with the way he looked. I like the way he looked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's just a dark figure. He looks like a shadow.
Yeah. I thought that was cool.
And so everything about the Void character was really insanely cool.
Yeah, it is. And in the comics, it's like 3 times as insane.
Oh, man, I gotta start reading the comics.
You should. Like, it is insane.
But, anyways, go back to the part where she...
Yelena enters the Void.
Yeah. Everyone's running away from the Void, and Yelena kind of turns around and walks back into it.
Yeah.
Which, throughout the whole thing, it's like...
Huge metaphor.
There's characters always just like kind of... Like, in the beginning, Bob goes and sacrifices himself, and like, basically killing himself.
Yeah.
That's so he thought. And then in this part, Yelena does the same thing. She goes back into it not knowing if it's going to kill her immediately.
Well, I think she kind of knew it wasn't.
She had an idea.
Of all the whole thing of being like, the memory thing.
Yes.
But also like, it's an internal conflict.
Yeah.
Because she's like, oh, like you can't just push the void down inside.
Yeah.
You have to confront it.
Yeah. That's true. That is
And
good.
so
metaphor,
that was her being like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna go confront this thing.
Yeah. And then, oh my gosh, I don't know. Alexi's reaction was heartbreaking though, because he knows that this is his daughter, right?
Yeah.
And she's going through this like hard time in her life, and then he watches her just walk into this thing that he has no clue.
Yeah.
He thinks she's dead. He thinks she just killed herself.
Yeah.
And so like he's fucking heartbroken and he's pissed.
Yeah.
It just scares me every single time.
Yeah.
I think the void's coming in.
It is.
No.
It's every time we mention it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's heartbroken. His reaction was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit kind of made me really sad. I was like, oh man.
It did.
But then, John Walker's like, calm down, Alexi. Like, I kind of think I remember something. And he remembers the whole vision that he had with him.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I think this is something that we can do.
So they all also run.
Yes.
But we don't know that quite just yet.
They talk about it, but yeah, we don't know. We don't see it.
Yeah. So Yelena was able to escape her bad memory.
Mm-hmm.
And she finds Bob up in this attic. And you kind of get to see some things with Bob because he like talks about his family down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you get to see how he kind of was treated as a kid with his dad, who he didn't want to mention prior in the film.
And even his mom, because he stood up for his mom, and then his mom yelled at him and was like, "You make things worse."
Yeah.
And so it's like you can kind of see where the root of his problems are.
Yeah. And then suddenly all the Thunderbolts start poofing in.
Yeah.
Because Bob has this thing where he's like, I'm worthless, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're not. Like, you can overcome.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so they all pop in because there's that moment where he kind of made the decision, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And then his like own thing started attacking him and everything started flying at him. And then that's when everyone comes in. They start like saving them from the
debris and
landing
stuff, yeah.
objects. And she's like, "Oh my God, you guys came for me. How was it? Like, I'm so sorry. Like, was everything okay?" And I'm just like, "How was your guys' memories, basically?"
Yeah.
And Winter Soldier pops in. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you know me. Like, I have a pretty good life. So
Nothing wrong in my past.
nothing really terrible or traumatic in my
Just
past."
the delivery of it.
Yeah.
It's so monotone. It's so monotone where it's like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with my past. Like everything was fine.
Yeah, that shit. He does it so well.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, cool. Right on.
All right, let's move on. And then they kind of get this quick little blink of things where they're going through the rooms, and they walk into a room with his dad. And I thought this was funny because Winter Soldier, without even like thinking, just fucking smacks him with his bent ass shield.
Yeah. And just gets him out of there.
Yeah. And then fucking.
I also like to point out he's got this bent shield now, right?
Yeah, because the Sentry bent the fuck out of it.
And so he kind of just keeps it. It never goes back.
Well, I don't remember where he mentions this, but there's a part where he's like, "Man, I really hope Bob can bend it back."
He does mention that. He's like, "Damn, bro, he better be able to get his fucking powers back because he needs to bend this shit back."
And fucking, they go through the memories, and then this was your favorite part, you said, with the chicken.
Oh yeah, fuck, dude, this one's so funny. So
Yeah.
it's one of Bob's bad memories where he's like a chicken going crazy. He's in this chicken suit, chicken costume with a sign. He was spinning a sign, and he beats the shit out of everyone with the sign.
Yeah.
And Alexi looks at him, and he's like, "If you hit me with that shield one more fucking time," and then Bob goes, "It's not my fault. I was on meth." And then they start getting chased by the chicken, and they get pulled into another memory.
Yeah.
Oh
But-
my God, that was so funny.
That was really funny.
Yeah.
Then the last part here is they finally find the void,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to confront it. Bob himself has to confront it because, well, that's like the whole point.
Yeah.
And he starts. The void is mean,
Yeah.
which he starts saying like all of his insecurities and stuff. Like, no
Yeah.
one loves you. Fucking, they don't actually really like you. They just kind of have you here.
Yeah.
And going into all this stuff, and no one else can help him besides him being like, "Don't listen to him. Stop."
Yeah.
And then Bob starts beating the shit out of him, the void.
Mm-hmm.
But slowly, the darkness is kind of covering Bob. And I thought this part was really cool because that's not how you confront your problems. Because if you just start beating up yourself,
Yeah.
Like,
beating yourself up.
that's just making things worse.
Yeah, you're just gonna fall deeper into that, that void.
So all the rest of the characters are kind of trapped, and they all kind of break out. Yelena does first, and she kind of starts pulling them off, and then all of them pull them off.
That scene was like, that was kind of heart hitting.
It was.
Because it's like, oh, they're saving him. Like, they all care about him.
Well, they're teaching him to accept
Mm-hmm.
that, in a weird way. Which, all of that is really deep. It was really deep. Which, that's why I was okay with the talk no jutsu.
Yeah.
Because A, this guy's OP as fuck, and you can't fight him in a fight. So B, it's like, they did the talk no jutsu in a good way.
Yeah, well, and it's because it's like, they're both, it's inner demons, fighting inner demons, which is it's very much talk no jutsu heavy. Like, that's kind of how you have to, I guess, encounter that kind of stuff in story writing. You can't really genuinely fight your inner demons. You have to confront them. Yeah. And then... Which is good messaging. It is. I'm going to go watch it again for therapy reasons. Yeah. I'm going to watch it with someone this time. Yeah, you should go with me, man. But then everything's good. The Sentry and the Void are gone, and it's just Bob now. And Bob's kind of just chilling. Which I thought was funny because he's back in his clothes and stuff. Yeah. And he doesn't remember anything. I forget what they asked him. I don't remember what they asked him. Maybe he asked him to bend his shield back or something. Oh yeah, something like that. And he's like, I don't think I can do that. Yeah. But he's very, very clearly like in the dark. Yeah, he does not know. He's like, I don't know what's going on. But he's like a golden retriever vibe. He just had some friends that were happy, so he's just cool with being with his friends. He's like, right on. He's like, cool, guys. And then they see Val. Like Bill and Ted or dude, where's my car? Yeah. And then they see Valerie and she's like, I need evac, I need to get out of here. Kind of seems like she's being serious. Yeah. And Alexi's like, I'm gonna kill her. Bucky's like, no, stop. And then they kind of go and confront her like they're gonna jump her. Yeah. And she steps through this little crowd thing, and it's a whole press conference. Yeah. And all of them are kind of like, what? Yeah. The fuck? They're like, oh god, we got bamboozled. Yeah, and I thought this part was great. Yeah. This was like the send-off of like, because she immediately goes, thanks to our heroes here that I assembled, we really needed a new team and all this stuff. So I'd like to introduce you the new Avengers. Yeah. And everyone kind of goes, the crowd goes mild, right? Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, who the fuck are these people? Right? Like everyone's like, well, but everyone's asking all these questions. They're flashing lights, and you can tell Elena's kind of like, oh, okay, right on. And she kind of like gets up next to Valerie, and she whispers in her ear, "We own you now." And that shit was like, oh fuck. Yeah, Elena was sick. Hard, bro. Bob was just sitting there the whole time. Like, yeah, right on. Fucking Alexa. Oh no, he started clapping. Yeah, he did. She didn't understand he was part of it. He was like looking at them. Yeah. Everyone just kind of like looking at him like, you're a part of this, dude. Yeah. Alexi's stoked. It's like his dream come true. Oh yeah. Fuck, dude. Alexi's so funny. Yeah. And then title card. Thunderbolts. New Avengers. Yeah. Well, before this, I'll say, because they start zooming into Elena's face. And they have music over it, but then it starts changing to the classic Avengers theme, and that got me. Yeah, it got me really hyped. Yeah, I like that. Hearing that theme in the fucking movies is always good. Yeah, because it starts building to it. They almost tease you because it's like da 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 da, and then title card. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that was good. That was really good. And then seeing it change to the new Avengers was really cool. And then we get to the post-credit scenes. You didn't like the Wheaties one very much. Well, it's not that I didn't like it. I just thought it wasn't like necessarily important. I just thought it was funny. It was funny. And I was mad because at this point in the time, I had to go to the bathroom so bad. Yeah. Like I was in pain, but I had to stay and watch. And so, you get the big credit scene, which really early on. And so I'm like sitting there, like, oh my god. And then it was just the Wheaties one, and I was like, no! Damn it. But basically, Alexi, he's in the store, and he's like looking at boxes, or like the cereals and stuff, and he's on the box of Wheaties, like the whole New Avengers is, and he's sitting there talking to some girl, and he's like, "That's me on the box."
Yeah. I have to go.
Oh, like right now?
Like right now.
Oh, fuck. Okay, real quick. In the end, they're in the Avengers Tower, and they get a call about an interdimensional thing, and they look out the window, and it's the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
The end. New Avengers.
Yeah. Very exciting stuff.
Very exciting.
Like I said, 8 out of 10. See you guys later.
I'm
Short
still
one.
9 out
Hopefully
of 10.
later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, I'll go first. It's not easy. And sometimes I get frustrated because it's like, I have buttons, okay? I have... But why don't my hands glow?
You know, I punch, right? I punch.
Yeah,
I punch well. But could I punch better with a jetpack on?
It's hard not to be a tad bit envious, but also I phase, so...
Obviously, my fighting skills are the best of anybody's the group.
The best of anybody's in the group?
It's the reality. Doesn't mean
I can phase. I don't get why.
Guys, this is the arm of honesty. Only the person holding the arm may speak. And
Not cool.
this is the helmet of acceptance.